All right, squad, so we continued working through this project construction manager app. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump in and build the project view screen, set up the foundation for that, work on a bit of Tailwind styling, and see what v0.dev can do for us. So let's jump in and have a look. So I've chucked it into v0.dev again, and it's quite interesting how similar all these designs look in the end of the day. The one thing to watch out if we're all using AI to develop our UIs. But you can see here it's come up with pretty much the same thing as we had before. And the project overview is all right. I mean, I think what I'll do is I'll probably borrow from this style. Where was it that I saw? Yeah, we can kind of do something here, and then we could have all the sub-projects inside of this, and we can work from there. So I think when we land on a project, what are the key things we want to see? We probably want to see the name of the project, who the client is, and then underneath we want to have all our sub-projects inside that we can navigate through. So let's try and do that. So it's interesting. And you probably want activity as well eventually. So let's dive into that one. So the first thing that I want to do is, so you can see when we're inside of this project, let's go into this one, it's all the way through. We want to actually, I want to constrain this like this. So let's do that. So this is inside the index screen. We can just see what we've done here. It's this div. So inside of show, we probably want the same thing here. Right, and then we'll move all this in there and just see if that's done it for us. If we go in here now, there we go. That's cool, but we do need a column. I'm interested to know why. Where are you listening to? Okay, so we need to make this flex col. Now, actually what I want to do here as well, I wonder if we should just apply this, if we go back, I wonder if we should apply this to all our content, because we actually don't ever want it to be full width. So what we can actually do in our layout, in here, I think what we can probably do is add a div here, which is this. So where do we have our width? We don't have a width here, but if we chuck that there, we can now go into the index and get rid of all of this. We don't need this. So MX Auto here, we can chuck that in here too. Okay. We can actually get rid of this guy. I wonder if we can even get rid of this. Let's just see if that works. No. Okay, and then let's get rid of, so we want that. Get rid of that. Yep. Now why? Okay, so the background now. Okay, so we can't do it straight there. We need to actually grab that and chuck it in a div here, because we need that gray background to go all the way through. Let's see. There we go. All right. And then we just need to make sure that we have some sort of spacing here. So show route, we can get rid of all this. That's fine. Index, flex, items, center, gap 4. So now we just need to make sure this has some sort of padding on top. So if we just add a class here and we just go empty 8, give it a margin top. There we go. That looks better again. Okay, so now this guy we need to fix as well. So index is good, show. All right, so flex col here. That's cool. We just have to see, we don't need this yet. There we go. Don't need gap 4. Excellent, back to projects, perfect. That's looking better already. Awesome, excellent. Okay, cool. So we got some sort of basic styling. So now what we want to do, I reckon this guy can probably live in here, like an edit, as an edit pencil, and delete as well. So that's probably like a cog eventually. So let's just create a new section here while we're in the show. So in here, we're going to render the project. And then what we're going to do next is I'm just going to create a div here. And this is actually, I wonder if we can put, let's just do it in here for now. I'm just thinking out loud, we could go here. So we're going to say H2 and we're going to say sub-projects. All right. And then here we're going to go, I'm just going to chuck that there. And I think this probably needs a margin top of 8 as well. Let's just see. Yep, but I want it in this box as well. So let's just grab this guy. So we don't need the DOM ID. I want this here. I want this to be sub-projects. I'm just chucking in the code to see. There we go. So it's something like that, but maybe we can drop this margin top to 4. Yep. Let's just see what this looks like. Yep, so it's got that kind of thing. We don't need the client name. So I'm just wondering what kind of name we could use here instead of sub-projects, just like if you're actually using this. We could even call this like buildings or structures, right? That should be something like that. Let's just leave it as that. Now, what does that look like? What does a list view look like inside of this guy? Probably more like a table, I imagine. Let's have a look at this this table code here. So if we go to the HTML, how has it done it? Has it used? No, it hasn't even used the table. Where are you, mate? I'm going to grab all this actually. Let's chuck that in here. Let's try and find it. This looks like the table here. Construct. Let's just have a look at what we're seeing. So it's project status, resources, cost. Project statuses, resources, and cost. How have you guys done this? Interesting. Resources, where are you? There we go. Reporting settings. What? Feels like it's giving us the wrong code here. Try again. For me, that feels like it should be a table, realistically. Yep, it's something wrong here. I'm going to refresh this page. For some reason, it looks like the code generated is not matching the UI that we're looking at. So if we go code, grab it. There we go. Project status, resources, cost. There we go. It's a table. That's what we want. All right. Let's grab this whole guy here. And then we're going to use that here. Let's just see if that works. Okay, we're getting close. So we just need to change this. Flex col, not flex row. Yep, we don't need item center. There we go. Sweet. So this piece is actually now, this would be reading main dwelling. We don't actually need right now any of this stuff. Let's just go, so let's clear out these two. And then we can clean out this. Let's get rid of a couple of these as well. So it just simplifies that for us. There's a div missing. No, it's not. This is wrong. That's right there. This needs to be tabbed in. That's the table. Okay. Sweet, that's good. sub-projects. Now this is going to be, so this is where we can now loop through here. So we can go in here and we can say project dot subprojects dot each subproject like that. And then in here we're going to say this end. That's to end our loop. So we're looping through our sub-projects, and let's just see if that works. Project is that. There we go. Now we can grab our sub-project from here and we can put in the title. Main dwelling, cool. Why are you so small? Width 300. No, let's make that. What's that look like? Main dwelling, excellent. And then I think down here we want to have not costs, but we want to have actions. Cool, main dwelling. Let's also make this a link. Sweet. So we're going to do that inside of our project. Just grab this guy. Cool. So there we go. So we got now projects 9. Authorized, not allowed to show this project. Okay, so that means that this project, sub-project, hasn't been assigned to our organization. Okay, so that's good. Let's just fix that up. So inside of our services assigned project, we've got to do here the same thing. So we can probably use the same service again, except we need to say we only set up a sub-project if it is a master. So I want to use the same service. So because I want to use it for a sub-project, we don't want a sub-project to have a sub-project to create an infinite loop. We want to say if project.isMaster, then we set up a sub-project, okay? So then we can skip this, and then what we can do here inside of this thing is we can go result equals projects new setup new, and we're going to say project is sub-project, and we can actually say current user. We can grab that instance variable there, and then we can say if result success, then we're going to assign the data, because we know that coming out of that is a project. Okay, so now we have logic in here to say if it's a master, set up the sub project. If it's not, so then when we hit this again, this is not going to be a master. It won't set up the sub project, but it will set up the organization. Okay, so that should be sweet. Now let's try create a new one. So let's go back to projects. I'm just going to go and have a look at some houses just so I can keep getting addresses. Oh damn, that doesn't hit 25 mil. That's not bad, eh? Let's just go here. Let's have a look. 29 Keats. Why do none of these? 10 Burn Street, Byron Bay. Here we go. Let's create a new project. 10 Burns Street, Byron Bay. Create. Now if I hit edit here, boom, I can do it. Okay, so we've fixed that little problem there. Now we can access that. We're not getting that error. Now, because we're inside of the main dwelling, we want to change this out, right? So when we're in a when we are a sub project, we want to change this. So we're going to do some logic here. So we're going to say if project dot is master, so you could even do this in a ternary, to be honest. So when we want to render directly, we use this little equals here. So if project is master, then we're going to render our client name. Otherwise, we're going to render out the name of the project. So if it's not, it's a sub-project. So we're going to say project dot parent project dot title. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. So now you can see when we're in a sub-project here, we've now showing 10 Burn Street, Byron Bay, and it's the main dwelling. Okay, so if we go back to projects and have a look here, so 10 Burn Street, Byron Bay, that's the master project, and that's got the client name there, and that has that. So now what I want to probably do as well, so we can probably swap this actually now back to how I wanted it, so that we can have some more space to do a few more things. So if it's a master, we're going to say if, and then we're going to have an else here, and then we're going to have an end. Right, so that's just a basic if-else block. So if it's a master, we're just going to render client name. Otherwise, we're going to do a link to. So what I want to do is I want to link to, the title is the parent project, and here I'm going to do parent. Okay, so you can see here, so if the project is a master, I'm rendering the client name. Otherwise, I want to link to the parent project.title. All right, let's see what that looks like. Now I'm going to click back to Byron. There we go. Perfect. So a little bit of a navigation there. All right. Now again, in a sub-project, we do not want to show sub-project again because sub-projects don't have these things. So realistically, what we're going to do here is now we're going to add a block. We're going to say if project.isMaster, we render all this. All right. Otherwise, we just do nothing. We'll show other stuff. So this is the master, nothing. Perfect, okay? So that's how we can just show, because we've got this parent master, sub-project parent thing going on, we can render different things depending on what we're doing here. All right, so let's continue. So let's jump back to our little product we're trying to replicate here. So now what we have is these sections. So we really only want to show. Now what this is triggering in my head is thinking maybe what we should do is actually, instead of trying to do this if logic inside of the show here, maybe we should do, I wonder if we can render something completely different. Partials here. We could move this partial into its own thing. So it just keeps this logic simpler and more similar to React, but I'm just thinking maybe, I wonder if we can do it in the controller. Let's have a look here. So if we go into projects controller, so where are we? Create, we're going to be in our show route. Show, so we could render a different, render new, render show. That's actually rendering the show. We could do partial here, render project. I'm just trying to think. We could create a master project, because that's what that's doing there. So what I'm thinking here is we're going to go master.html ERB. And what I'm going to do is from the show route. So what do we have here? We got this. So we've got show. Let's copy this, put it in here. Lose this. So that's the master. And then I'm going to, right here, I'm going to go subproject.html. I'm going to grab this, and then I'm going to get rid of this table because we don't need that. Now inside of show, what we're going to do here, we're going to say render. So it's render partial. And that's project/master project. I'll just get rid of all this. I can actually get rid of all of this because I think Yep, we have that there. So let's just see what this looks like. Okay, so that's still, we're still getting the same thing, so that's good. Now, what I want to do is we need to just say, so we're going to go project that. Otherwise, we're going to render sub-project. Let's see. There we go. Cool. All right, so we've just cleaned this up now. So in the show view, we've got the partial rendering. If it's the master, we're going to do the master project. Otherwise, we're going to render the show, the sub project. And that's just going to allow us to work on these things independently and not worry about all the other stuff. So let's go have a look here. So the next piece that we want to have is sections. So we want to basically be able to, now I'm just trying to think, this is the hard part of building without having a design, but what I want to think here is maybe when we have the main dwelling, we build out each one of these as like this little block, its own little thing. So we'll have like a little thing here that says add a, I guess it's an area, a space, add a space. So let's go with that first. So in here, we're going to grab this guy, right? And then just close him off. Why aren't you listening properly? Div, you should come here. Yep, this is going to be called spaces. But so what we want to do here is, it's going to be more like a button in the middle. What does this do? Let's say add a space. I'm just trying to see how we can make this look good. So not quite right, but you can kind of see what I'm trying to do here. So I want to have like the main dwelling, and then I want to have just a button down here that we can say add a space. Could put it in here. I'm just wondering about mobile. What does this look like? How do we make this look good? Let's create a link to create a new one. So that looks like, where are we doing this? Add a project. Let's copy this guy and chuck him there, add. Yep, we need to fix this guy still. Is there any margin on this? Text primary foreground. We need to set these settings up so that it actually works. And this will not be a new project path, but it'll be a new space path. So let's see, so we got projects there, main dwelling, add a space. All right, now above this, we're gonna have our blocks again, and then in here we're gonna have this guy, and this will be a space. I'm just kind of laying it out. So that'll be like that, boom, boom, boom. All right, so we're going to have like the main dwelling, which is this, and then we're going to have kitchen, butler's pantry. So what we can do here is we can loop through. So we're going to go project dot spaces dot each do project space. Okay, and let's just see, I think we should already, we probably don't have one in this one. So there's nothing there right now. We don't need that, there we go, okay. So let's add a space I mean, we need to have this actually, so scaffolding, we need to scaffold this up so we can do this. All right, let's give that a spin. So let's go. So what we want to scaffold is the project space model. And I think the way we're going to do this, we'll go project 11 / spaces. Can probably have it like that, but we want to edit these all in line just so you don't have to go to a new section. I don't think, oh, maybe we do. We want to go to a new section. So we'll have something like that, spaces. And then that will be the index. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go here. We're going to go Rails, G, scaffold, controller, project, space. Now, that's fine. Let's hit that. Okay, so we've got our project spaces. So now if we go into here, I just want to see if we can do a nested space. For now, I don't think that matters. So what we're going to do here now, we should have a project spaces route. Here we go, looking pretty cool. We got 2 here of nothingness, but that's cool, that's fine. So we probably will never actually go this way. So what we want to actually do here is we actually never need to view spaces like that at all. So we're going to do something like this. So inside of projects, we're going to say do. And then we're going to say here spaces, right? So we're going to go like this. Now this route will fail. And now it should be projects /1 / projects spaces. Project space path. Now, so that's changed our route. So I'm going to show you what's happened, Rails routes. So you can now see project spaces. Now, whenever we reference them, it's going to be projects, project ID, then project spaces. I actually want to name spaces just spaces and not project spaces. So let's just have a look at how we can do that. Okay, so just to change this up, so I've changed resources to spaces. Okay, let me just bump the screen across a bit. And then I've said map it to the controller project spaces, okay? And what that allows us, if we run Rails routes, that allows us to be projects as project ID /spaces rather than project spaces. And you can see that it maps to the project spaces controller. All right, so now if we look at this, we can projects 1 spaces. Now we're still getting this URL generation error because it's saying link to show this project space. Now what we need to do here, because it's a nested route now, we're required to pass in the project ID, okay? So let's find that link. So it's this link to, where are you after that? Which link? Let me just see which link it's throwing. Show this project space. So it's on the index one. So let's go to the index. Sorry, it's in project spaces, index. Here we go, project space. So now we have to pass in project ID, I believe. Let's see if that's right. That's not right. It's haven't played with this for a while, so let me just have a look. A bit rusty on the old ERB. Okay, to fix that one up, we just need to change this to project space path. So I've gotten that from project space, and then you just you append path to the end of this. So you can, whenever you use this prefix, you can either append path or URL. URL will give you the full URL, path will just give you this path. And then what I'm doing is I'm passing in the project ID because that's a requirement. And then I'm passing in the project space. So you can see it here. Project space path, project space dot project ID, which is what we need. And then the project space itself. We could also just pass in project space dot ID, I believe, and that should also work. Yes, it does. But if you just pass in the whole object, Rails can grab it from there. Cool. So now we have this here. Now you can see we've got 2 spaces here. Now let's just double check that those spaces do belong to the same project. Yes, if we change this project to 2, that's also returning all of this, right? So that's not right. There's a mistake there. So we need to fix that. We only want to see spaces that belong to the project itself. Now, mind you, we aren't ever going to come to this page, but I'm going to fix this anyway. So let's just go here so I can show you. So why are we getting that? Is because we're getting this, right? So first things first, we need to policy scope this, right? Because we can't have you seeing every single project space. So let's just fix this now. So let's go into here. We're going to go Rails G, what was it? Rails G policy. And that's going to be project space. Okay, cool. So it's created a new one for us. I'm going to jump into it here. Now, we want to just go resolve. So what can we see? So if we go back to here, let's copy this. So if you're an admin, you see all, cool, that's fine. Else if you're an organization user, we're going to join organizations project. So first, before we do that, we need to join the actual project. So let's test this out in our trusty Rails C. So we're going to go spaces project space dot all spaces dot joins project. So you can see here now we're selecting project spaces from project spaces into join projects on the project ID. Cool. Sweet. So that's good. So we're busy joined there. Now from there, we should be able to join organizations projects. Let's see. Can't join project space. Okay, so we're going to need to be a little bit more explicit here and help it find what we're trying to do. We need to join the project. We're going to do a join like this. So spaces joins project colon, and then in here we're going to provide that we want to join on the project organizations projects, all right? And then that gets us there. And then from there we can then append our left join there, cool. And then from there we can get the organizations users. So what I'm just trying to understand here is why are we getting an array of nothing? So project spaces, it's because that project actually isn't set up correctly. So that's fine, that's actually what we expect. All right, so let's just grab this piece and we can replace that with there. All right, so that's that. And then from here, again, that's all, we don't need all this yet. So that's the scope there. Now if we just do policy scope, we don't need to do .all. All right, so that's project spaces. Now, what we do need to do though, is add a where clause here. We need to pass that in so that the project ID is always the project ID from here, and that's coded in the URL here. All right, so if we hit that, no spaces, we go here, that's also going to give us none, but that's because we need to assign project 1. So let's go back to project 1. Let's just double check. So project 1 has, there we go, we got our 3 sub projects: main dwelling, secondary dwelling, and gym. That hasn't been linked up yet. All right, so let's see, so where would that be living? We need to just link this up. Let's just set this quickly so we don't have to muck around with it. 3, 4, and 2. Can we just do that in here? 3, 4, and 2. So we're going to go organization project.create organization dot first, and then project is project.find 2, 3, and 4. It's organizations project, not organization project. It's a join table. So that's that one, that one, that one. Now we can access that, and you can see here now projects 2 has 2 spaces. Let's just see what's going on here. There we go. So projects 2 now has 2 spaces, and you can see them here. If we go to project 1, nothing. Project 2, 2. And if we look at our DB, what do we expect? Spaces. Project 2 is the only one with spaces here. So cool. So we got that working. So that's filtering. So now, for me, I don't know if we, so the reason why I'm hesitant here is because I'm thinking, do we want to have to click in to view? Because here we're looking at the project as a whole, and we want to list the spaces here. Do we really want to go into spaces like that? I don't think so. I think that's probably a page I'll just give a little miss on. We don't need that right now. Rather, we would want to access project 2 / spaces / 2. Because what we'll probably do here is we'll kind of show this kind of Excel, this kind of view here, this table in each of these. But then to actually manage this thing, I think we'll go into space, like something like that. All right, so let's just quickly create that page because I think that's where we will go first. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create the little link through to this manage section. Actually, what we're going to do next is create this new space here. So this is not projects new, this will be projects 2 spaces new. So let's just see. This is where we want to end up, okay? When you click this button. So let's go in here. So this is inside of the project spaces. It's actually inside of projects, sub-project here. We want to say new project space path. And in here we have to provide project.id, okay? I wonder if you can just do this. You can. I think also when we did that piece before, I wonder if you can just do, can you do this? You can. Awesome. So you can actually pass the object through twice for it to figure out. It can grab project ID out of that, and it can grab ID out of that. Cool. That just makes it a little bit easier. Add a space. So now if we go back here, we want to hit add a space. Great. Now we got our little form. All right. So that is rendering the new. So let's go into here, and for us, we want to have a look at what are we looking at? Show, and that's the master project. Let's grab this flex column and just wrap all of this around here. And see what we get. Nothing, which is fine. Now, let's see, what does this look like? We haven't done any of this other stuff. I might even fix this quickly just so it can help us navigate. We may as well fix the navigation while we're here. That is in shared header. And where does this go? This takes us to, this is the projects path. There we go, awesome. So this is our really yuck. Yeah, that's not gonna do for me. All right, so that's the form. That's the new project screen. It doesn't look cool at all. So let's see what we can do here. Let's use these same like little header things that we're doing at the moment, which is this guy. So that's inside the project. Let's grab this piece. So let's stick him here. We don't want the client name. And this will just say new space. We can even leave project space there, that's fine. Let's see what that looks like. Boom. Yeah, we don't need you, that's right. New project space, cool. And then I think what we do is we render the form inside of this. So in here, pull that in there and see what that looks like. That's that piece, and then it needs this piece. Yeah, that looks better. And then from here, we're going to just go MC4. All right. That looks like that's a button. That's fine. That's cool, no worries. So now we can stick our form in there. So let's go into the form. There's absolutely nothing in the form, which is really cool. This one. And the errors. Realistically, errors should be at the top. That's title, and then we also want to append this class here. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. I don't like this grayed out look. On this focus, so they change it out. Let's make this like a, maybe even a 100 gray. No, not text gray 100, it's BG. Yeah. Something like that's probably better. Even that though, feels weird to have like a grayed out box. There we go. Okay. So what do we have when we do a space? There we go. So we've got a basic form. That needs to be a button, which we need to fix. It's just title, okay? And then from here, it's still crying to us because it wants, so if I just add bathroom, that's cool, okay, so that's going through. Let's have a look. So we go to project spaces controller. Now we've got these forbidden params, so we just have to remember, what do we permit through here? We only permit, yep, that's good. No, we don't permit space ID. We just put title. Do we permit project ID? I guess we can permit project ID if you ever want to edit that. So if we go back here, add a space, main bathroom, create project space. So project must exist. Okay, so we need to send that up. So how can we send this up? We can send this up by looking in the project spaces controller. Let's just pull that out there and then say when we create project space dot project ID is params project ID, because remembering that when we hit this route, where's our routes? Let's do this, Rails routes, projects, when we hit create project spaces, it's got the project ID there. Okay, so we can pull that out of the params. Let's see, here we're going to go main bathroom, hit create. All right, that's good. So it created, it just can't route us. So because we generated this using scaffolding, it doesn't have the nested piece here for us, but that's fine. If we have a look here, we got main bathroom, so that's good. So now we just have to change this route. So that is here, right? So we can change this. We just have to provide project space twice, project space URL. Is that what it's called? It's called, let's have a look, project space URL. Yep. Sweet, save that. Let's have a look. So back to project spaces. There's main bathroom. Let's go main bedroom. There we go. So it's back there. All right, let's go here. There we go, main bedroom, main bathroom, kitchen, living. Cool. All right, so we're adding spaces. We just need to fix the redirect. So realistically, we want to actually, when we create one, we want to redirect not to the project space. I mean, the project space URL is actually probably where we want to head, because that will be where with this managed piece. All right, so that's cool. That looks like it's working. I really want to get these buttons working next. So let's have a look at how to do that. All right, to set up Tailwind, this, you guys are probably more familiar with this than I am. But if we're going to config, create a new file, tailwind config.js, and then we want to just export this. No. To always, please. So primary color. So we need to look at this here. Oh, what's going on here? I'm amazed that worked. So if we go back into our projects index, we can look at this. What is this using? It's using text primary foreground. And what else are we using? BG primary. Now, I don't know if you have to restart, but it's always safe to do. Now, let's just see what colors we can use here. All right, I figured it out. So what we had was, I had a config file, tailwind.js, which is how it's, I believe how it says that we should do it. If we look here, tailwind.config. So it says you can customize the Tailwind build through config Tailwind. But then what I noticed was, there was one sitting here in the root, which is a bit confusing. So this was overriding the other one. So what I'm going to try is move this into config now. And then let's restart and see if it still works. Where are you? Nah, doesn't. So there must be a change here, because when you move it back here and restart this guy, it works again. Okay, so there feels like there's probably a bug in the documentation, or I'm doing something wrong, but I think when we installed Tailwind, it came in right. Anyway, where we are is that is now working. So if we change this to our button here and we say the BG is primary and the text is primary, what was the other one that we called? Foreground. Let's see what that does. There we go. I'm going to make our primary color black. So inside of style sheets, we have now created this root. These are our color variables, CSS variables, and then here's for the dark mode, all right? So primary color for foreground. So primary color I'm going to just make is black, right? And then for the foreground, we're going to have white. So I'm not focused on black. There we go. So we've got a black button. Now, when we hit that, all right, so we can change this later. That's not right. But there we go. So we've got that button working now. That was a rabbit hole and a half. The fig got there in the end. So let's go into here. So we can now, in our project list, we create here. This needs to just be, we need to rename that to manage. So let's fix that up. I'm just working through the app now slowly and just seeing where we can fix things. So a master project has these actions. And then what we're going to do here again, we're just going to link to, and we're going to just say, not the title here, we're going to just say manage. All right, let's see what that looks like. Boom. All right. Sweet. So we, at the moment, it's just much of the muchness. They both do the same thing. We're going to click main project, or main dwelling, sorry. There we go. Add a space is now correctly styled, except it's too long. So what I want to do is I want to move that. So if we go into a sub project here, we've got add a space. We want to justify flex. I think it's just called justify end. But that's just that. That's the actual button. So we want to do here. We want to set this to the grid. We don't really need a grid here. So let's get rid of that. Space, and then we want to justify. It's either justify end or items end. No. There we go. I think something like that looks a bit better. Okay. Awesome. So we can add spaces now. When we hit manage, we want a little manage button here, I think on the right. So let's go here on the top here. So we've got the title, and then here we want to have a little button, and this will say manage. Now I don't want those to be black, but they will be for now. Again, not a grid. Like that. We don't want a margin top. Where are you getting that from? I wonder if it's this. Yep. And we want this, so this is flex column. We want this flex row. Yep. Now we need to align these. P6 space Y. We want to go we want to justify, well, items center. Yep. Now just this Y spacing. Maybe we can give a little bit less. So PY, let's make that 2. I don't know what space this does. Yep. And then we're going to justify, what's a Tailwind? I know all the CSS terms. Justify content evenly. I think it's this one. There we go. Now we don't want the black buttons. So I actually want to get rid of BG primary. And this will be text primary. Like that. We definitely don't want that dark when we hover. Let's see what this does. Yeah, I don't love that, to be honest. I just want to go hover. We want to go border. Let's see what that looks like. We do need the border though, always. So maybe we just chuck a border on always. There we go. And then when we hover, what can we do when we hover? Let's see if that works. Now, how do we set border colors here? Border color, border gray 400. Let's see what that looks like. Not loving this jump between the views here. So 200's not it. 300. Yeah, you can just see that happen. All right, that's fine. But now what we want to do is not go to new project space path. We want to go edit. Maybe we just want to go to the project space path actually. Let's see what that does. There we go. So we need to pass in the project space. Let's see, there we go. So you can see it changing project 2 space 1, project 2 space 2, 3, 4. Okay, so when we hit that, there we go. All right, awesome. Cool, so now we've set up all the project spaces, and in the next one, I will show you how to build out this project space so we can add items and start building out this table here. Catch you on the next one.